All right, welcome to the special edition of Hannity, Liberal Lunacy, and that's just this week alone. Now, tonight, we are on day 2 of the media's psychotic rage and coverage surrounding an unnamed whistleblower who made some kind of unknown allegation against President Trump. Now, there really aren't any other definitive facts in this story. Somehow, your media mob has spent 48 straight hours spinning in circles. But today, President Trump, he rightly defended himself from all of the mob's hysteria, calling the story a political hack job. Take a look.
It's a partisan whistleblower. I shouldn't even have information. I've had conversations with many leaders that are always appropriate. I think Scott can tell you that. Always appropriate, at the highest level, always appropriate. And anything I do, I fight for this country. I fight so strongly for this country. It's just another political hack job. That's all it is.
By the way, did he offer nuclear fuel to North Korea? No, that's Bill Clinton. Oh, did he say, tell Vladimir, I'll tell you more after the election, but don't tell the American people? No, I don't think he made that deal. Did he drop $150 billion in cash and other currency on the tarmac so the mullahs in Iran that chant they want to wipe Israel and America off the face of the earth? Did he do that? No. But this is what the mob does best, hyperventilating at the remote possibility that this unknown information will somehow lead to the impeachment that they've been craving the day after Election Day 2016. This is a psychotic rage every second of every day. It knows no bounds. Multiple reports now suggest that the so-called whistleblowers claim it surrounds the country of Ukraine. Now they're doing us a favor because they're now opening up a lot of questions we've wanted them to cover for a long time. The boomerang comes right back on Biden, his family, and the Democrats. Look at the Wall Street Journal. It says President Trump once pressed the Ukrainian president to investigate Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son, who was involved in some sketchy business deals in Ukraine, with a gas company that was being investigated by a prosecutor. And his father, then vice president, by the way, was overseeing at the time the Obama administration's Ukrainian policy. Oh, and the president wanted the truth? Let's see. We have Joe Biden on tape leveraging your money, $1 billion worth of it, to fire the prosecutor in 6 hours, or he's taking his money home. The company that was investigating the corruption into the gas company that his son was doing business with. Wonder why he wanted that prosecutor fired. I can't imagine why. Now, the president wanted the truth about that and any 2016 election interference by Ukraine. You remember, the Ukrainians wanted to give us evidence that they willingly tried to influence the election in 2016 and help Hillary. I didn't see anyone in the mob interested in that story. But I do thank the media mob. You have opened the door now for a national discussion about, well, what did Biden and his son do, and when did they do it, and what kind of interference was the Ukraine involved in as it relates to our 2016 election. Now we'll hopefully get to the truth. And coming up, we're going to have a full report. How sleepy, creepy, crazy Joe 30330 potentially, leverage your money in order to line the pockets of his own family. But first, breaking just moments ago, we have a new twist on all of this. John Solomon reporting that the State Department, not President Trump, but the State Department, not President Trump. That's right. They were behind former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani's efforts to investigate Biden's dealings in Ukraine. They asked him to do a mission for them, and he did. And then he came back like the great citizen he is, and he reported it. Here with more, investigative reporter, Vice President of the Hill, we have John Solomon with us. You have been on this Ukraine story. Number one, the election interference evidence that they want to give us. Number two, we have the tape of Joe Biden saying, you want your $1 billion? You fire the prosecutor that is investigating the gas company that my son's company, had no experience in this, is getting, I think, $188,000 a month from.
That's right.
That was the prosecutor.
Over 2 years.
And now we find out from your reporting, Rudy Giuliani was sent there by the State Department. When was that?
Yeah, so actually, Rudy Giuliani has actually never even set foot in Ukraine. That's the funny part. But in July of this year, this is a contact that over the last couple of days the media has been hysterical about. But here's the context and the understanding of it. In July, a senior diplomat at the U.S. State Department contacted Rudy Giuliani and said there is a representative, a lawyer, an advisor to President Zelensky, the brand new president of Ukraine, who would like to talk with you. You don't appear to be taking any calls from Ukrainians these days. Would you consider taking his call? Can we give him your number? Mr. Giuliani said, yes, I'll be glad to take the call. He had a contact with the advisor. They met briefly in Spain, not in Ukraine. And then Rudy Giuliani called two senior diplomats, two of the most senior members of the U.S. ambassadorial staff in Europe, and briefed them on everything that went on, described what the Ukrainians were concerned about, described what they were looking for, described this dynamic that's been going on for more than 18 months. Ukraine trying to get evidence of what they think is American wrongdoing to American authorities, and it falling on deaf ears. And that's the end of it. But you wouldn't have known that from all of the coverage of the last 2 days on the media.
Two separate issues here. Number one,
yes.
Did Ukrainian officials offered us evidence that, in fact, they were involved in election interference in 2016 to help Hillary Clinton's campaign? But I didn't see anybody in the media pursue the interference story, and I thought they cared about interference, but obviously only if it's Russian interference in Trump, because we know they don't care about the dirty Russian dossier.
That's right. Keep in mind that just a few months ago, Sean, we reported on your show and Inside the Hill that Ukraine's embassy in Washington confirmed on the record that back in 2016, the Democratic National Committee, trying to help Hillary Clinton get elected, asked the Ukraine embassy to help interfere in the election by doing two things: dig up dirt on Paul Manafort and have Ukraine's president make a kerfuffle here in Washington about Manafort and Trump when he came to visit. Now, the Ukrainians say they rebuffed that attempt, but Hillary Clinton's campaign, the DNC, made that request, according to the Ukraine embassy in Washington.
Great work, John Solomon. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let me be very clear here. So, and the media mob did us a favor, because now we can talk about this and people will pay attention and we'll get the truth out. So for 2 consecutive days, the media mob has obsessively, breathlessly, hysterically been pushing this news story featuring an unknown member of the intel community. That's a separate issue, making unknown accusations about an unknown but somehow disturbing promise between an unknown world leader and President Trump. Now, did you count all those unknowns? Because apparently this is what passes as a big story among the media elite mob. Now, if you want to call yourself a journalist, you really have to toss out a vague, unverified accusation about President Trump and watch it spread like wildfire. They won't check each other. They just report it is here. This is true. I think we got him. How many times have we heard that in the last 3 years? The media mob, their handlers in the Democratic Party, they're so desperate to smear this administration. Pretty much anything goes. I've never seen anything like it. And I declared journalism dead in America in 2007.